And we are back. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Is my stream working? Okay. Cool. I can't see myself, but I guess that's okay. How's everybody doing? It's been an interesting day or so. I don't know why I can't see myself in this little preview. I'm not going to complain about it. I don't necessarily want to see myself. I can still see my chat. I'm going to pop it out. Pop out chat, put it right over here so I can see everybody who's in here. Only one person's in here right now. Well, good. Good, I'm glad. It's the first time I've done live streaming in like probably 8 or 9 months. You can barely hear me. You can barely hear me. Okay. Let's see what I can. I just bumped it up a little bit more. My question for you is my microphone coming through clearly? Because something about the way OBS is working is making this mic sometimes be a little crackly. So, if it's okay, if everybody can hear me, except for Keith. I don't know, Keith, turn your stuff up. There is a crackle. That stinks. Let's see if I turn it back down a little bit. I don't know what's causing the crackle. I mean, I've got all this gear here that's like supposed to it's supposed to like work, and it's not working. But I can try and make it this. Okay. So I am trying to adjust things, and also listen to the monitoring, the monitor. I can hear it there. I can hear it, but that's it. I'm one of those people that kind of drives me crazy. But I'll just have to live with it. Just like I'll have to live with the fact that earlier, yesterday I put up my video for. Oh, can you hear that? Can you hear the echo? Okay, good. That's what happens if I turn on the monitoring so I can hear what's going out as well as like what I'm hearing through my headphones. Then it echoes like that. But the echo should be gone here in a second. And all you guys are saying, echo. So yeah, let's chat about this. I can hear myself. I can hear myself fine. I just I can't monitor what's going out. That's what causes the echoing. Anyway, hopefully technology has now sort of done its thing, and we're live, and we're going to talk about this. So it's weird. It's not clipping. It's just some sort of interference with OBS. I'm going to try and troubleshoot it. I'll try and not to have it be too bad. So I threw up my LG V30 unboxing first impressions video yesterday, and before the video even went live, it was flagged for no ads, which I just found really bizarre. Let's look over here, see if we can see it. No, it's not going to show. Got all this fancy equipment that I'm trying to use that's not really. I gotta work the bugs out. You guys, you're just gonna have to stay here with me while I work out the bugs. But anyway, it's not. It said it wasn't suitable for most advertisers. Hey Keith, yeah, no problem on the Astro A50s, man. They are a great headset. It was a toss up for me between the Elite 800s and those. and I ended up liking the Astros better. The 800s have more features, but the Astros are generally better. Yeah, and now we've got another issue of demonetization. I use finger quotes. I'm not complaining. I understand why YouTube is like really trying to get their algorithm working so they know what's appropriate for their advertisers and what's not appropriate for their advertisers. I totally get it. I just can't quite understand what it was about my video that flagged for demonetization, and I'm hoping I did put in a claim for them to manually review it. Manually is not the right word, by the way. Manually is like to use your hands, like manual dexterity. So anyway, they're gonna watch it. I've asked them to watch it and tell me if it's in fact like not cool. Hey, how do you say your name, Mr. Somkin? Because I don't want to, I don't know what's wrong with it either. I even went back, like I uploaded it once and it got that flag, and then I was like, well, I know I said Apple killed a bunch of things, so maybe it was saying kill that got it flagged. So I took out that, and I think I said shit one time, and friggin' a couple of times. It is no different than any other video that I've made, but it came up again when I re-uploaded it after taking out a couple of things that I thought might flag it. I don't know why it would do such a thing. So I'm gonna have them look at it, and hopefully they'll tell me what if anything is wrong with it, or if it was just an aberration. So Semen, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, welcome. The thing that got me to want to come on here was MKBHD put out a video today, like a Q&A video, and he said one of the questions was, has Adpocalypse affected you all that much? He had a little bit of a misleading title where he said demonetization of tech channels, question mark. Oh, so you go by Sam. Okay. Good to meet you, Sam. So the question was, had all this demonetization stuff affected him? And he said no. I honestly couldn't see any way. Hey, Kel's TV, man. Thank you for very wow, super chat. I appreciate it. I was wondering. He said that he'd never had any problems with it. Of course, Casey Neistat has been right up at the front of all this recently, talking about the sort of double standard that went on between him and Jimmy Kimmel when it came to monetizing stuff and giving stuff away to charity. I don't think that anything that I'm doing ever comes close to that. I've had a couple of videos demonetized earlier in the life of my channel where I talked about stuff like drinking and those kinds of things, and I thought it was kind of lame to demonetize a video where somebody was talking about something that they hoped would help other people who might be struggling. I don't know, but I did. It wasn't a big deal to me. I wasn't going to make any money on those videos anyway. Wait, so yours got demonetized for having Las Vegas in the title, even though it was like about you driving in Las Vegas? Hey, thanks, Shellfire. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think there's so much going on in the world right now, and YouTube is trying to straddle this line where they can give their advertisers some assurance that their money that they're spending is being put in front of things that they would want to represent their products. See, the weird thing is this is like way different than TV advertising or radio advertising or anything like that. Radio advertising, you would buy you would buy ad time in front of a certain show, or you would buy ad time at a certain time of day. The same thing happens with TV. I used to work in advertising, although it wasn't like broadcast advertising. And so in traditional media, you would buy ad time that ran in front of something that you wanted it to run in front of. That's why the Super Bowl ads are so expensive. That's like prime time. They know millions and millions and millions of people are watching. So YouTube is a little bit different because it's all just an algorithm that points videos in front of things that are monetized. And I think up until Adpocalypse happened, there wasn't really much going on that really differentiated what was different or not about one particular video or the other. Okay, so now if you start a new channel, then you have to have 10,000 views before you can monetize. I have been on YouTube since 2006. I didn't really make very many videos, and I wasn't really doing what I'm doing now at all in 2006. But I basically got a YouTube account because that was around the time that YouTube was really just starting, and I was really kind of interested in just checking out what people were doing. And I thought, oh, maybe I'd like to do that as well sometime. And so I started my channel. Back then, there was no monetization. There was no YouTube partner program. So I'm certainly not complaining about the fact that YouTube is trying to crack down and give their advertisers something that they can be a little bit sure of when they're selling their products. I wouldn't, if I were advertising a product and wanted people to buy it, I wouldn't want it running in front of something that was had graphic violence in it or hate speech or anything like that. I mean, is this Martin says rip YouTube? I don't know. That's I think YouTube's just going through growing pains. So we're at like 10 years worth of YouTube right now. And originally YouTube, what I loved about it was just kind of like the Wild West. Anybody could put up anything. And it was the first time that really there were no gatekeepers, where you could just, if you had a video camera or some way to get a video made and you could upload it to the internet, it could be there, and it would just there was no filter. Then Google bought it and they started selling ads. And so we're just going through this process where YouTube has to figure out what it is that they're trying to sell. Hey Sam, I'm not listening to myself because it gives this really weird echo. But yeah, there's probably, unfortunately, some feedback coming through this particular mic setup, and I don't know exactly why it is. So I've tried a couple of troubleshooting things. Hopefully, it's not too terrible, because it sounds crystal clear to me coming back to me, folding back through my system. I don't know why OBS is doing this, but it makes me mad. Anyway, so now YouTube is trying to figure out how to provide some assurance. I get it. But my question is, like, tech YouTubers basically make advertisements for products. I mean, even me, I admit, like, I'm advertising products by putting them on, so like, here is my LG V30, and I'll tell you my experience with it, and that is basically, an advertisement or an opinion or something. Hey, Steven, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will keep it up. I'm going to try and keep it up in many different... Wait, I'm sorry. That started to sound really wrong. That wasn't what I was trying to say. This live stream is another way that I'm trying to keep making videos without, you can't do a review every day, but I can come in and answer questions and talk to folks. And I thought this whole demonetization thing was bizarre for a YouTube channel that does basically advertisements as I do and as MKBHD does, or any other tech YouTuber. These are all features of products. So, and it's been interesting for me because my channel's grown quite a bit over the past few weeks, and so I've been seeing different ads running in front of my videos, which has been really cool. And I've been trying to figure out how it is that YouTube is placing these videos, and everybody who does YouTube is kind of like trying to figure this thing out. That's the whole deal. So is the crackling bad? Because I can try and get a different mic setup going. It's unfortunate that that's happening, but I can't source it right now. I can't figure out what's going on. So I've been trying to figure out the algorithm. I don't know why all of a sudden lots of people watch my videos, but that was cool. It was really fun. And so now I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side trying to figure out why it is that they would want to demonetize something that was featuring a product. Now, I wasn't very nice to Apple in that video, but I mean, that's criticism. That's not anything else. And so I can't imagine that was like negativity towards a company that would cause anything to I guess, be flagged. I mean, if YouTube started flagging people for their opinions in terms of criticizing a product or a company, as long as I'm not telling you to go out and do something drastic in response to any of that, then I can't imagine why that's a problem. It's just really weird, is what it is. I've got it so I had to get a new camera. In fact, this is the third new camera that I've gotten because my camera that I always use, the Lumix G7, stopped reading SD cards, and I have to send it out to get it fixed. And so I am now it's all about promoting and pushing your channel marketing stuff. I thought the channel was about tech. It is about tech. That's really the only reason that I'm here. It's I started doing this by accident. I started out with I'd just gotten a PS4, and I wanted to do some chat. I have friends. I have a really good friend who lives in Buffalo, New York. I live in Iowa City, Iowa. I wanted to be able to chat with him, play games, and so I went out and bought a gaming headset, and it was a piece of crap. And so I went out and bought a bunch of gaming headsets. I bought a bunch of gaming headsets, and just started doing reviews of them, and that's really like when people started watching and that kind of thing. So tech has always been sort of a weird hobby of mine, or an interest of mine, and it's just something that I really enjoy doing. I never anticipated making any money at it, which is why this ad stuff is weird. Your English died. Well, let's revive your English. Christian says, Casey Neistat complains that YouTube does not have real communication with creators and there's not clarity. Well, that is true. I am not Casey Neistat, so I shouldn't really. I don't have any demands as to like YouTube communicate anything to me. Part of the game of being a YouTuber is trying to figure out how to get people to watch your videos and what people like, and what your personality is online, and how to get better at that. So, I mean, I get what Casey Neistat is saying, and here's what I think is really happening. I think that YouTube has like another tier where, for people like Jimmy Kimmel or the TV networks or something, for them to put their stuff on YouTube, I think YouTube has probably made some kind of specific deal where I would guess that Jimmy Kimmel is bringing his own ads and YouTube is getting a cut or something like that, because that's the only way that I can imagine that these late night talk shows would actually put their stuff on something other than broadcast television and really push it that way. So I think that I think that YouTube is making separate deals with those kinds of entities, whereas even people like Casey Neistat, since he's a native YouTuber, is still sort of dealing with the same kind of deal that all the rest of the YouTubers are dealing with. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate that, man. Sam, tech writer in Ukrainian. Well, that's cool. That's cool. You have to send me a link to some of your stuff if I can use Google Translate to read it. Anyway, thanks for being here. Yeah, I think that's what we might find out, is that YouTube has a different deal with network television entities that are putting their stuff on YouTube. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It's if we find out that that's the case, then YouTube is really going to be in trouble because people are going to be really mad. Now, it should be said that YouTube doing ad revenue sharing like they're doing was unlike anything that I think has happened in modern media history, where you have a grassroots group of creators who are making content for free and you decide to share your money with them. I mean, that's like they're communists or something. It's crazy. But the good thing about it is YouTube has decided to do that, and in doing that, they've actually given people incentive to continue to make content. Sam, just send me your stuff, man. I'd love to read it. And your English is doing fine. The typing is hard for everyone. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Stephen R, for that compliment. Yeah, I think that the ad sharing is great, and it's one of those things that really changed the landscape. I mean, I've done a lot of different stuff. So I've been a semi-professional musician that almost got a record deal and almost made a living playing music, and I have put out a couple of records, and I have traveled all over the world with music. I'm a writer. I've written and published a novel, and I've got another novel published, or not published, but written. All of those traditional media things, you work your tail off. You push. You try and get your gigs. You try and get stuff into magazines, whatever it is. And then slowly you sort of break through. And then you get a paying gig, and then you get paid better, and then you get paid better, and then you get paid better. But here on YouTube, I mean, it's called the 14th Colony. There's a link to it in most of the descriptions in my videos. It's also on Amazon. You can check it out. My dog is barking now. Sorry about that. Linux is something that I haven't really delved into too much, honestly. It's like the next horizon for me. I've built PCs. I've done all that stuff, but Linux is not really something I've done too much. But the difference between like being a musician that's trying to make a living in this day and age, or a writer that's trying to make a living in this day and age, is that the money is right there from the beginning. And it's not big money. I have been making, at the start of 2017, I think I was making like $50 or $60 a month in YouTube ad revenue. And it's slowly grown over time until, like, I think this month I got $150. So it's just enough that, like, at this point, when I want to review a gaming headset, or I want to grab some, because I also do Amazon affiliate stuff. So when somebody clicks through and buys something on Amazon using a link that coming from me, then I get some tiny percentage, like pennies on the dollar, for whatever that was. And so I just get that in an Amazon gift card that I apply to my account, and then that's what helps me buy headsets, or I just put everything back into the channel, whether it's buying stuff for the video related stuff, whether it's stuff for whatever, or stuff for review like cases or headphones or any of those things. So I get at this point maybe a few $100s a month from YouTube in total. And to me that's like gravy. That's just like a really cool thing, because YouTube doesn't have to do that, but they do. Now, saying that, they've really got to figure out like what it is they're going to do when it comes to trying to protect the advertisers that are investing money in the channel. So me sitting here as a tech YouTuber, kind of making videos that are serving as free advertisements for whatever product I'm reviewing. Most of the stuff that I review, the money that pays for it comes out of my pocket, and my wife will tell you it doesn't make life easy. What kind of clickbait would you like me to start using? I get people accuse me of clickbait related stuff all the time, because my Samsung Note 8 case drop test, like I put it in quotes, and I guess some people don't know what quotes are, but I wasn't really doing a drop test. It was a joke. Anyway, iPhone 8 catches fire. Yeah, that would be one way to go with it. I mean, a lot of people were trying to make hay with that iPhone story where the batteries were expanding and popping the screens off. A lot of times there's sort of the YouTube drama doesn't only exist, in places outside of the YouTube tech stuff. A lot of people are trying to make even more out of problems than they really are. Now, the Note 7 last year, that ended up being a problem that really was a big deal, because it did become dangerous. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to do what I do and be honest in the way that I think is important to be honest, and still pull in an audience and make people interested in my videos, and not have to go for shock value. But maybe you're right, Christian. Maybe a lot of other YouTubers are using clickbait type stuff. I don't have any experience with that Sony. Sam, sorry about that, man. Don't know that one. Well, Adam, that's been my whole thing. Is like I've just been doing the stuff that I do. I think I said it in another video. The only thing that I can necessarily control about my channel is continuing to make videos and continuing to try and make them as well as I can. And if I continue to do that, then hopefully more and more people will show up to watch. And it's kind of worked that way. My channel's I started out 2017 with, I think, just over 2,000 subscribers, and now I have almost 1,100. So, or 11,000. I can't even think of it. My favorite headphones, Sam, are the Sennheiser HD 600s. Those are the ones that I use the most. These are kind of like my favorite headphones for any kind of like working in the studio kind of thing. These are the Sony MDR. These are the V6s, but the 7506, the MDR 7506 is also, they're basically the same headset. So Adam says, your style is, and honesty is here. I really enjoy your channel. I think you're going to keep growing. I hope, I hope so. It's kind of a weird double-edged sword. Like, I'm a regular guy. I'm sitting here. This is my basement, and upstairs is my wife and daughter and 3 dogs and 2 cats, and I have a job. I work for the University of Iowa at their medical school as a teacher and administrator. It's a great job, and YouTube was not something that was really like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna just like, I'm starving myself until I become a YouTube star. I tried that with music. I busted my ass, and it did work, but I didn't reach the goals that I set for myself. But those goals were, anyway, it's a long and drawn out thing. The world is full of regular guys. What do you mean by that, Christian? Yeah, I guess, is that in reference to the clickbait stuff? Maybe you're right. I try and be, I try and be sort of forceful in my opinions. One thing I don't like about a lot of tech YouTubers is that they just sort of take pretty pictures of products and they don't really own an opinion. And I think that that's necessary. I think one of the reasons that Marques Brownlee is successful is because he's somehow able to sort of straddle that line between saying something and not saying something. Yeah, now the truth comes out. I'm the university teacher that somehow just gets on YouTube to talk. Mio, my favorite. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, I'm in my mid-40s. I really like I really like talking about tech, and I'm fascinated by YouTube, and I'm fascinated by the process that it takes to do all those things. And so I never really thought, is it crackling worse now? I can try and switch out to a different mic, but I have to take the stream down and do that. I don't know what's causing the crackling, but it's a problem. I agree. Sorry about that, tech junkies. I think what I'll do is I'll dig out my, for my next live stream, I will go ahead and dig out my Blue Yeti and just use that, and that should be fine. I could switch it now, but it might end up being worse. So anyway, yeah, I'll keep everybody posted on what happens with this demonetization thing. My so how about ProTech like ThinkPads? Yeah, the MacBook Pros that have been coming out, I think the last real MacBook Pro was the 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro with all the ports that you would want. So I think the ThinkPad is kind of weird. I mean, I know it was the holy grail of PC laptops for business productivity when it was, before it was bought by Lenovo. But I've heard mixed reviews about ThinkPads now. So So you can barely hear me when I'm talking. I don't know. I mean, I can always put the mic closer. You guys want to hear echo again, and I'll see what I can hear. All right, so I'm going to, let's hear what this is. Okay. Yeah, there's that crackling. And now it's echoing, and now it's echoing, and you guys are like in some kind of weirdness. I can't figure out what's making it happen. Either. I got to do some serious stuff. So I think mixed results are happening with this mic. I actually record when I'm using this setup. I actually record my stuff separately, and then I sync it up later. I record into Persona Studio 1.3, and just sync it up separately, and the mic is fine there. I don't know, man. If you were stoned, that echo would be awesome, right? What I've got going right now is just a separate mic aux in OBS going into, so I've got that separate, and then desktop audio is something separate. I used to stream using an Elgato game capture, and I have the Elgato Cam Link right now, but this Canon camera that I have, the Rebel SL2, if you try and output through HDMI, it gives you all of the stuff, like the ISO, aperture, shutter speed, all that stuff. Gives you all of that stuff, and you can't get rid of it. So I'm using USB at this point. I tricked it into being what it's supposed to be. I can't anyway. I'm starting to ramble. What else did I say I was going to talk about this? Yeah, I'm talking about my new camera. I picked up the Rebel SL2 plus the 10 to 18 millimeter lens, and actually right now my battery says it's going to die. So I've got a DC battery coming tomorrow. So if the stream goes dead, you'll know it's went dead because my battery is dead. I'll just talk until the battery dies. How's that? And I'll come back as like I rebuild my whole camera system so I can get this other camera fixed, and then then it'll all be good. I do have though, like I love this Elgato Stream Deck. Anybody out there streams, you gotta check out the Stream Deck, because I can switch. I can do all kinds of crazy things. I can mute the mic. But now I'm back, and I can change scenes and all kinds of crazy stuff. I really, I like this Canon camera that I picked up. I tried a Sony A6300. The first one that I got had some kind of like pink purple lines that went all over the place down it, and it was a problem with the sensor, and it's a well-known problem with the sensor, and so I had to return it. And then I got another one. Those cameras are really well known for overheating, so in the middle of making a video, the camera overheated and shut off, and then lost all its settings. So I had to try and get all the settings back mid-video. A lot of times what I'll do when I'm making videos, if I have a bunch of time on Sunday or a bunch of time on a Monday night or something, I'll try and do like 3 or 4 videos and then edit them throughout the week. And so I was 30 minutes into making videos when the camera died. So I had to return that. So now I got this Sony SL2, which has all of the guts of an 80D, but is much smaller and cheaper. So I'm sure there are some things different between this and the 80D, and I'm going to do a full review of this camera and talk about why I like it, or if I like it. But I had the SL1. It didn't have a flip out screen. It does have a flip out screen now. It has audio inputs and all that kind of stuff. Trying to work my way around the HDMI is kind of frustrating, but it's ever since I moved my setup down here. Can I be more sarcastic? I can certainly be more sarcastic. What would you like me to be sarcastic about? I think I've given Apple their business for my sarcasm recently. But anyway, yeah, I'm generally a pretty sarcastic guy. This camera seems, I like the wider lens, the 10 to 18 that I picked up. It's picking up all the glory of my basement behind me. I'm good. Tech junkies, my camera is about to die. I'm sort of trying to figure out these whole, I'm trying to figure out everything basically, because I had to buy a new camera and stuff. So this is kind of like me trying to get the streaming setup going. And so I'm gonna keep streaming. Like I do have other cameras. I do have other ways that I could set this up. This is like the easiest setup for me. I'm boring after I answered all your questions. Is this what have I done for you lately kind of thing? I've only been streaming for what, like 40 minutes? Anyway, 40 minutes is yeah, it'll get better as time goes on. Like, this is the way that I like to sit here and do this with the mic and stuff, but it's not perfect. Wait, Samsung Galaxy Tab 3. Ed, which one is that? Samsung does have some sexy tablets, but I just haven't ever pulled the trigger on them. Like right now, I just have an iPad Mini 2 and a Kindle. The tablet world is sort of weird to me. It's in between. As our phones get, like, this screen is not that much smaller than the screen for my iPad Mini. I might look at the ThinkPad. I do need a new laptop just for futzing around, but at this point, through my job, I have a 2015 MacBook Pro, and that works great for me. Bluetooth speakers. Would I have gotten the iPhone X if it was the same price as the iPhone 8 Plus? Yeah, but I understand what Apple's trying to do. They're trying to create another price tier. They're trying to create another level to get people to spend money on. So if from a business standpoint it makes sense, but I just don't know that the iPhone 10 will either be great or it will be a disaster. I don't think Apple has really had a disaster since like the Newton. So I don't know. We'll see. Bluetooth speakers. I had the Sonos system for a while, Sammy, and I really liked the Sonos system, but I spent like over $2,000 to put Sonos like throughout the house, and I got the thing for the TV and the whole deal. It was really expensive. Right now, I have a lot of speakers, and I did a review of these things called I don't know, it's like a little audio puck. It's sort of like a Chromecast audio, and those things are really cool. But I spend most of my time down here, so I haven't really delved into the Bluetooth. There's a company that's supposed to be sending me like these really nice bamboo Bluetooth speakers that are supposed to sound great according to their Amazon reviews, and the company is supposed to send them to me so I can check them out. Just haven't gotten them. Adam, would I recommend a MacBook? Yeah, I would not do anything with a touch bar. I wouldn't get a MacBook with a touch bar. Probably the 13-inch MacBook is the best value for what's there. So I would go that route. But they haven't released them. Whereas like the iMac that they offer this year, was really great. The 27-inch iMac was the first one that I would have bought in many years. The MacBook line this year really kind of left me scratching my head, because they raised the price by hundreds of dollars, and this touch bar thing is a disaster. No, anyway, touch bar is going to be gone. It's going to be not even a thing soon. Do I still stand by my video from 3 weeks ago where I said the iPhone 8 Plus is the best? I do stand by that video, and I stand by that video while I ended up keeping the Note 8. So the thing about the iPhone 8 Plus is that it hits a lot of spots where you get the best of the most stuff that you can possibly get, if that makes any sense. I think it's probably the best way to put it is it's the phone that the most people across all walks of life, it's the best phone that most people could get. It's not, for me, I really like the S Pen on the Note. I really like the audio on the V30. Those are things that are specific to me, but I'm a niche market when it comes to stuff other than the basics of cell phones. I think as basic cell phones go, the iPhone 8 Plus is by far the best. And I know that makes people mad, but it's, and I don't want to qualify too much, so it sounds like I'm, so it sounds like I'm trying to wiggle my way out of it. But, to me, the best smartphone of 2017 right now, it just in terms of like pound for pound, everything as all features, blah blah blah. The Note 8 is the best right now. I'm anxious to get my hands on the iPhone 10. I'm anxious to get my hands on one of the Pixel models. In fact, I think it comes out tomorrow, doesn't it? And I might go over to Verizon and see if I can find one. Yeah, I took a lot of crap for the Turing test thing that I said. A lot of people were like, "What are you talking about, dude? It's not the Turing test." To me, it's like an analogy. They're very similar. If you're using the iPhone, it's really easy to forget that you're using that you have a device in your hand. It becomes part of what you're doing, and it does it pretty seamlessly. And that's what Apple is really good at. And that's what I think a lot of people, when they come on my channel and talk about Android versus iOS, they don't. There was a guy telling me today that I'm not a tech person, or I'm not a techie or something. And because of that, that's why I like iOS. I most definitely am a techie person, but I can appreciate the simplicity of iOS. I don't have to agree with everything that they do. I hate being locked into the grid of icons, and I hate having to move the icons over from screen to screen. I hate all that stuff. But I think aside from a lot of little annoyances that are almost like legacy annoyances from when the system was first built, I agree with you, Adam, that it just kind of works. And that's not to say that Android phones can't just work either. It's just that when you have a bunch of other features and they're different from phone to phone, it takes a long time to work your way around to like just getting your brain to think like, oh no, instead of my finger, I should be using the S Pen right now. And so that's why some people say like, well, the S Pen doesn't matter to me because after the first week I didn't use it. Yeah, I'm not worried about the criticism, man. I honestly, I think a lot of it is pretty humorous. Yeah, people get really mad, and it just makes me laugh. It's I thought about doing a video where I would read some of the most, like, there are a bunch of comments that got flagged and never made it to the comments pages of a lot of my videos, where and I thought about doing a video where I read some of those, but that might get demonetized as well. I don't know. There are a lot of curse words in them. A lot of people calling it stupid, a lot of blah blah blah. The comments section is not a place where I can be injured. Let's say I could be injured in a lot of different ways, but I've been through enough to not have to worry about what people say in the comment section. What I would really prefer, and what I really respond to, and I try to answer as many comments as I can when I'm on, is, just ask me a question. Ask me a question, not like, don't yell at me. I can't respond to you if you yell at me, but I can answer questions. Maybe some people don't want questions answered. I don't know. I think that, I've left nasty, snarky comments on people's YouTube videos as well. Like Random Frank P. I've tried to go after him a couple of times, but that's a whole other story. Jedi, you don't always agree with me? That hurts my feelings. No, I'm just kidding. What current gaming headset are you using? Just to be curious. Yeah, when my channel was a little bit, when it was smaller than it is right now, a lot of people would come on the videos and ask questions or something like that. And it was more of a conversation. Yeah, the Cloud 2s are great, man. The Cloud 2s really are great. I don't have a set right now, and I kind of wish I do, but I'm going to review the Cloud Alphas here very soon. I'm planning my holiday videos, and that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of these newer headsets in my holiday videos. Yeah, the comment section was a kinder, gentler place when I only had like 2,000 subscribers. When my iPhone, 24 hours with the iPhone 8 Plus video went up, and a lot of people watched that video, I got a lot of people, like, comments were coming in every 10 seconds, and a lot of it was just like pure hate. Sam, I don't have the V20 anymore. I traded the V20 for the Note 8. Like, basically, Samsung was offering $450, $425 for a trade-in, and I knew that I couldn't sell the V20 for anything close to that at that point, so I just traded it. But it's still a really good phone, although I think that I might like the V30 better. I've heard great things about the LS lines, the Lucid Sound stuff. I've sent those guys a bunch of messages asking them to let me try out their headsets, and they never answer me. But that's neither here nor there. I haven't seen, one thing that I like to see in a company is that, they kind of make it out of the internet and into stores. So when HyperX made it into Best Buy, that kind of, I like to review things that people can get going out to the store or going on the internet. And so Lucid Sound hasn't really been able to get those LS40s into the stores, and I kind of want to see that before I really review that. Did you ever work at the Apple Store? You carry yourself like somebody has a full disclosure. I'm a formal. No. I never worked at an Apple Store. I've been to Apple stores. I live in Iowa. There's one Apple Store in Iowa. And before that, I lived in New York City, and of course there are Apple stores there, but I left New York City in 2004. Yeah. Then I was living in West Virginia before I came to Iowa, and there are no Apple stores in West Virginia. None. So I've just been kind of geek out about this stuff, ever since the iPods. I think the iPods were like the invention of the 20th century in many ways. So I always loved music, and so when that started happening, I got really interested in tech. I'm trying to do that. I'm going to work on getting this whole sound thing worked out. Sam, I said earlier that this is my first time trying to live stream with this setup, and it's not perfect yet. You go to Virginia Tech, dude, I am a mountaineer. This is a problem because we're supposed to be mortal enemies, but you guys beat us at the beginning of the season, so fine. Okay. Anyway, the only way that I stay in touch with my hometown is through watching West Virginia University sports. I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia. West Virginia University sports, big thing for me. So Sammy, you're saying, then rip the headphone jack. It's sad how Apple was, yeah. Well, that's something that I've said. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I wear my mountaineer heart on my sleeve. But so I think that if Steve Jobs were to come back to life today, that Steve Jobs would look at what Apple has done with the products that he helped foster into the world and just crap his pants. What they've done with losing the headphone jack and calling it courage, that's just freaking offensive. And that's another thing I was listening to. I was watching MKBHD's video earlier this evening while I was eating dinner. And he was talking about how the headphone jack is dead, just let it go, blah, blah, blah. The headphone jack shouldn't be dead. I've got like a dozen headphone jacks within arm's reach right now. It's still a viable, useful, important piece of audio technology. And Apple has become more of a lifestyle brand than anything else over the course of the last 6 to 7 years. And I get it. And yes, Charles, you're right. I mean, the V30 looks just like an iPhone, and it's got a headphone jack. It's got a really good headphone jack, too. So the V30 sort of proves out that everything that Apple says was impossible to do, it was bullcrap. And here's what they did. They bought Beats. They knew that Beats had developed and would develop more wireless headphones, and they needed that technology so they could make AirPods. And they realized that if they took away their headphone jack, then everybody would have to buy their AirPods or their Beats, their Studio Beats or their Power Beats or any of those things. And while that's a shrewd business move, I am offended by Apple saying things like it takes courage to move forward, when really all they're trying to do is diversify and pad their bottom line with selling more headphones. Now, it's business, and business is supposed to just be, whatever it is that you can do. But I don't know. I wish that Apple would be more honest with us about what they're doing and why. So, let's see, Charles, Note 8 may not have the V30 DAC, but it proves the jack isn't dead also. Yeah, I agree. I think there are, the first phone without a headphone jack was actually the Moto Z line that came out right before the last iPhone. And then, so they were trying to steal Apple's thunder a little bit. I don't think anybody really cared because the V series didn't do or the Z series didn't do too much. The Moto Z Play was supposed to be a great phone, but I never got a chance to try it. part of me wants to take a stand on things like, I won't buy a phone without a headphone jack. But I can't say that because there are going to be some good phones out there without headphone jacks. But I will say that wireless headphones are not as good as wired headphones. But the Beats X are pretty good for wireless headphones. And I liked them a lot. I had them for several months and really thought they were pretty nice. In fact, I thought they were probably the perfect headphone for Apple products. They were very convenient. They hung around your neck. They were just easy. The AirPods are very cool. I've still got my AirPods right here, even though I don't have an iPhone right now. So my batteries have died. My batteries have died. Now I'm gonna switch it up. New video capture device. Okay. C922. Okay. I can still sit here and talk to you guys. It's not showing me my camera. Where's my camera? There it is. No. Just give me a second here, fellas. I assume you're all dudes. Sorry about that. Yeah, the battery on my camera died. This won't be a problem tomorrow when I get my new friggin' power supply for this thing. For some reason, I can't get the webcam to come up. Hold on. Well, guys, I can't get the webcam to come up. So I guess I'm going to probably just end this now, and tomorrow or over the weekend, I'm going to come back with my stream set up like all that much better. I live in Iowa, Samuel. Iowa City, Iowa. Maybe I shouldn't tell you. Should I not tell people that? I don't know. Yeah, it's the first live stream without video. I think they called that radio back in the day. But anyway, I'm going to jump off now, fellas. And thank you for hanging out with me. I will be back with more live streams, and I'll get better at this as time goes on. But in the meantime, I'll also be back with more videos, and I really appreciate all you folks who've been here or whatever. If you're brand new or you've been here for a while, I really appreciate it. All you guys have a great night too, Sammy, Charles, Steven. Talk to you guys soon, okay?